Hi, I'm Naomi Nachman and this is Sunny Side Up. I am really excited to be here with my good friend Miriam Pascal.
Hi, Naomi.
Hi Miriam, she's also known as Overtime Cook. She has a blog and two amazing cookbooks. And Miriam is also photographed my upcoming cookbook, and we thought we would do a recipe together from my new book. So welcome to Sunny Side Up.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about what happens when we make a praline Halva Mousse. It's one of my favorite recipes in the book. Okay, so we're gonna get our pan nice and hot. Praline is basically sugared nuts with some sesame. So let's get that going. But you wanna make sure that your sugar is nice and hot and dissolves around the nuts. It does take a little bit of time.
Right.
So we got our sugar. We want that to kind of like melt a little bit. Mix it around. And we want it to dissolve, and it's gonna dissolve around the nuts. Sesames are gonna go in last because that has a very high smoking point and we don't want them to burn.
So here, this is gonna be like the crunch factor, as I like to call it, for the mousse, because mousse is creamy, so you want some textural contrast. So I like to have a crunch. So this is gonna be the crunch for the mousse, which is great. But really it's just sugar, which is, when it cooks and it becomes caramel, it just, you know, the sugar deepens the flavor and you get that like dark, rich, delicious flavor. And you can do so many things with it.
You gotta kind of like stay on top of it because it burns so fast. So you kind of like...
So you're stirring pretty much constantly now?
Yeah. And then I always have a piece of parchment paper ready because it also cools very fast. And we want to make sure that we can get it out of the pan very quickly. I'd like everyone to see how the sugar is like breaking down here and getting very syrupy. And at this point we would definitely have to be all over it, making sure that it does not burn. And it comes together quite quickly. The big sugar lumps have broken down.
And it's kind of translucent.
It's translucent, but within a couple of seconds, if you catch that, it's going brown.
Yeah.
In the last 10 seconds, it's just gone brown. At this point, I'm gonna add in my sesame seeds, quickly stirring it. I'm even gonna turn off the power.
Look how it smells amazing.
Look how quickly that came together. You just now officially made your own praline. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this straight onto parchment paper. I'm gonna do it onto wax paper. And then what you wanna do now is just spread it around so it's easier to break up afterward.
You should be careful now because hot sugar can give you a serious burn.
Yeah.
So you wanna make sure to be careful with that.
Yeah. We're gonna let this cool and harden, then we're gonna chop it up and then we're gonna put it in our mousse. But in meanwhile, let's get that mousse going. We've chopped up our praline, it's ready to go into our mousse. My mum used to make this incredible parva halva ice cream when I was growing up, and I wanted to develop it a little bit even further for the cookbook. So I turned to Miriam. I said, Miriam, we've got to turn this into a mousse and make it incredible and blow it out of the water.
So we're gonna start with our cream. In the bowl, we have 2 cups of Parv whipping cream. You can use dairy whipping cream if you're making this for a dairy meal. And we're just gonna whip it up until it's stiff.
All right, let's go.
So what we're looking for, and we're not quite there yet, we're almost there, is to get stiff peaks, which means that it will completely hold its shape, and that will make it pipe really beautifully if it has a nice stiff texture. Okay, so that's done. And what we have here is stiff peaks, which means that you can turn the bowl
Upside down?
Yeah, go for it. So what we're gonna do here is do the flavorings that are gonna get folded into the whipped cream. So what we have is just
Raw
paste.
tahina.
Raw tahina. No garlic and lemon juice added to
Yeah,
this.
no.
And,
This is straight up raw sesame paste.
and that's gonna go so great with the sesames that we put into the praline. And now we're gonna measure out the Ceylon, which is date honey, but let me just show you the trick that we do. So in order to get it out of the measuring cup really nicely, we're going to spray it. And then we can pour that in really easily and pour it right out.
Okay, I love this part. This is a really cool trick. Comes out really, just slides out.
Slides right out. So we're just gonna stir this together. You don't need to use the mixer for this part, just with a spatula. And then what we're going to do is stir the powdered sugar into this part. So this is actually gonna help stabilize the whipped cream to keep the shape. And now we're just going to take this Ceylon and tahina mixture and pour it into here. And we're gonna fold it in. So yeah, you wanna use a rubber spatula, which is gentle, and you wanna just go slowly. Don't rush this part.
But you wanna make sure it's well folded and well incorporated
and so you can see as you mix it that it's getting incorporated better, and you wanna keep just folding gently.
We're looking for one solid color.
Yeah, exactly. So now, before we pipe it, one last thing to get the amazing halva flavor, like in every bite of the mousse, we're going to take this delicious shredded halva. So we have a bunch here. We're gonna use about half of it. We're gonna
save the other
fold
half
that in, and we're
garnish.
gonna save for garnish, exactly. So we're just going to fold that in again, nice and gentle, and make sure we have it really throughout every bite of this delicious mousse. And now we're ready to pipe.
Okay.
We have a large star tip at the bottom of the piping bag, and I perched the top of the bag over a glass, which is gonna help it stay open so that when I fill the bag, it will just go more neatly. One thing I do want to mention is that if you want to get a nice, a little bit of a stiffer texture for piping it, you can actually stick it in the fridge for about
That's
an
a
hour
great
or
idea
so
to firm it up a little bit.
To firm it up as it cools.
Okay.
And you just don't want to overfill it. You want to have room to close the bag. When you're piping, you want to always hold it from the top. If you try to squeeze from the middle, you can imagine what will happen. It'll shoot right out there and make a huge mess. So you want to hold it from here, and you always use this hand to squeeze. When you see me using my other hand, I'm only guiding with this hand. I'm never squeezing with this hand. Squeezing always happens from the top. That way you don't make a mess.
I did not know that. That's a great tip.
You want to just twist it around a little, so you have a little extra safeguard against making a mess.
Let's grab
Ready to go?
I'm ready to go because I'm ready to eat it.
All right, so here are the glasses that we're going to pipe this in. Remember you said before you wanted it to be really beautiful and elegant presentation.
Elegant, and this is great.
And this is going to make a really elegant presentation. The other thing I want to mention is that when we have layers, which we're going to have here, it's great to have something tall and skinny so you can really see beautiful layers. So we're going to pipe this in here. We're just going to, remember, hold it always from the top, and we're just going to go in there and fill a bit of the bottom.
Okay, that looks gorgeous already.
And then we're going to go in there and add
our praline crunch.
Some praline crunch and some more of the shredded halva.
Because you can't have enough halva, I'm just saying.
So we're just going to
Go
pipe
up
another layer,
layers.
And then we'll just do a couple more layers of the praline and the halva.
This is definitely a show-stopping dessert here, Miriam.
Yeah, this is like when you want to impress your guests, this is what you're going to use.
Not only does it look gorgeous, it tastes fabulous.
Just a little halva over the top.
Miriam has filled 2 gorgeous glasses with this amazing, delicious praline halva mousse. It's so pretty. You know, you definitely eat with your eyes. The flavor's incredible, but the way you made it look is so pretty. So I can't wait for us to dig into this. So let's try some. I'm getting a little bit of...
Yeah, a little of everything.
A little of
everything.
everything.
The perfect bite, right?
Every bite, and I'm like that with all my food. I like a little bit of everything on my fork. Okay.
Ready?
This is incredible. Every time I make it, I get so excited.
So good.
Miriam, this is a great collaboration, so we can have a l'chaim. And to get this recipe exclusively before the book comes out, check it out on Kosherdotcom.